All right, you guys, welcome to the Thursday Zoom call today. I'm your host, Maria. Today, we're going to talk about using the CRM to help work an area tight. So before we jump right into the content, why work an area tight? Why not just go all over the place and go wherever? First of all, it saves you time because you're going to be doing less driving. Second, it's more efficient because that way you're not skipping any potential clients. Third, names resonate much better. So names in one little pocket of plaza, one little area of town are going to resonate with the other business owners there. They're not going to resonate with the business owners 20 miles away across town. And then finally, prospects get to know you. People know you are the local agent. They know you, they trust you, then they're more open-minded to doing business with you. Why use the CRM to help out with this? First of all, the CRM can help you find businesses that you otherwise might have missed. Second, the CRM helps you get pre-approached. Sometimes it has information like the business owner's name, how many people work there, kind of the industry, a little bit more about the business. Number three, it helps you plan your route quicker. It helps you save a lot of time while planning so that you're not just spending hours and hours outside of work planning your next day. And then finally, number four, you're paying for it. So you might as well use it, right? So what I'm going to do for you guys is just kind of walk you through step-by-step, a really simple and easy way to use the CRM to kind of plan your days and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys so that you can kind of see what I am doing. All righty. Are you guys seeing my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. All righty, guys. So what you're going to want to do is, and if you're driving, obviously drive, but if you're at all stationary and able to pay attention and take notes, please do so. This will be helpful for you when you're planning your day for tomorrow. So first of all, you're going to want to pull up your mobile sales app, and then here in the top right corner, you're going to want to click Salesforce. Log in if you haven't already logged in. It's the same sign in as when you log into mobile sales app. Let it load. If your internet's better than mine, it'll load faster. And then you're going to want to click these three lines in the top left rather, and click on B2B prospects. So now, if you can see my saved searches. So down here at the very bottom is something called FHD master list. So you see the count, it says 9,207,000. That's how many businesses have been entered into CRM so far. Not by us, just by whoever makes CRM, I guess. So that's the one we're going to look at. If you look up here, those are some of my other saved searches above the master list. So don't worry about that. That was just some stuff I've done for my own turf in the past. So I'm going to go ahead and click on master list. And now, depending on how your turf is organized by your field trainer, how you guys decided to break up territories, that's going to kind of depend on, or that's going to reflect how you kind of search for prospects. So typically what I do for a turf is a zip code. So I'm going to give you guys a couple different examples. So I'm going to show you guys the town I worked in on that train more a couple weeks ago. So what I'm going to do is go on the top right over here where it says filters. It's a gray button. I'm going to click filters. I'm going to check zip code. And I'm going to scroll up here. So where it says executive present, that just means, do they have the name of the business owner? I'm going to uncheck that because you're going to get more businesses that way. Sometimes they just don't have the name of the owner in the system yet. Doesn't matter. It's still a business. You can still approach them. And then I'm going to type in the zip code for the turf I want to use. So it's 24091. You press add. And then down here, there's a little button. You can hardly see it for search. So here it says, you can see right underneath the filters button, it says 69 records. So that means there's 69 businesses in this little town of Floyd. So I'm going to click map on the top right. And now we kind of see the lay of the land. This is the town. These are all the businesses. And you're pretty much just going to start at the outskirts and work your way in. So let's say I'm going to work Floyd tomorrow. This is exactly what I did the night before that train more. You just zoom in. And now this yellow road, 221, that's kind of like the main road, okay? But you'll notice there's a lot of little gray pins on some of the outskirts, on some of the other roads that I honestly would not have driven on if I didn't know there were a bunch of businesses on them. And that's where a lot of your really good prospects are going to be, because most salespeople don't bother to do this. Most salespeople just drive down Main Street and they go into those businesses, and then those people are getting bombarded, but nobody's going to talk to the people kind of more on the outskirts. So what you want to do is just click on the first business you're going to meet when you drive into town. And so like right here, it says Blue Ridge Parkway, 50 employees. So I would write down, that's gonna be the first business I stop into. Now notice it doesn't have like the owner's name, the manager's name, anything like that. No worries. We can still just kind of walk in and, figure that out. And, did I happen to catch an owner or manager in, or is that you? Who's in charge today? And then just do your approach. And if you make a list ahead of time, so I know I'm going to the Blue Ridge Parkway first, and then right after that, I'm going to Blue Ridge Roofing and Home. When I'm at the Parkway, I can say, hey, I'm heading over to Blue Ridge Roofing and Home. Who would I ask for over there, just so I can be polite? I don't want to be rude when I go over there, but who would I ask for? And then that's how you can get your pre-approach. And if you've got your whole list, you can show the first couple people the list of businesses you're going to go see, and they might be able to help get you some of those names. It doesn't matter if you get the names from CRM or not. CRM is mostly here to give you businesses, because managers can change, owners can change, businesses can change too, but it's usually not quite at the rate of manager turnover. So now at this point, the quickest thing to do is going to be just write down 25 businesses, and there's your list. There's your plan for tomorrow. If you want to get real fancy, you can push the leads over to mobile sales app, so that tomorrow, instead of having a paper list, you can pull up the lead on your tablet, and it's just going to say, Blue Ridge Roofing at the top of your tablet when you go into the business. That's kind of an extra step. You don't even have to do that. This is still super helpful, super useful, just the way it is. Now I want to make a note of this, guys. So 69 businesses is not a huge area. Some of you might be thinking, I can get through that in 2 or 3 days, right? But I wanted to point out, so me and Casey worked this little town, wrote a good amount of business in a week, and we didn't get through half of these businesses. We only got to maybe like right here in the middle where it starts to get kind of crowded. We only got to maybe that far. And that's because we had a really solid approach. We used a ton of names. We kept really good record of the names so that we had names to use. And we got a lot of demos. Most businesses that we talked to, it was either at least an intro, maybe a demo. And like that first business I clicked on had 50 employees. So ideally, that's not just one demo. Ideally, that's hopefully setting up some kind of enrollment or a chance to speak with the business, like the employees or something like that. So don't be discouraged by the number of businesses in a territory. Having that abundance mindset means we're excited to talk to every single person in every business. Now, obviously, you're still going to have some mean managers or owners who are just grumpy and don't want to talk to you. That's fine. You don't want to talk to them anyway. But keep that abundance mindset. Even in a turf as small as Floyd, we were both able to write a lot of business, and there is a ton left for us to come back to, like a lot. So sometimes the smaller turfs are just fine. But if you do feel like you are ever in the situation where you're running out of turf, or you're just blowing through it really quick and you feel like you're running out, that might be because your approach needs work. It might be because you need to work on using names, work in the area type. And that's something you definitely want to talk to your trainer about. That's super, super important. So basically what you want to do the first day is just kind of write down 25 businesses you want to go see in a new turf. And then as you go, maybe you start to set up enrollments or appointments, or you have things to do and things to come back to. But it's always super, super important every day to have a list of about 25 businesses you can go see. Because even if you planned on working an enrollment for 12 hours, what if it gets canceled? What if it gets rescheduled? What if, something crazy happens and you can't do it that day? No problem. You still have 25 businesses to go see, and you never feel like you're sitting there like, what am I going to do now? So that's kind of the gist of how I would use CRM in a small turf. We're in it. You see these little black pins with multiple, it's like a little plus. That means they have multiple businesses in that, at that address, basically. So right here, you see Countryside Custom Homes. And if you go down on the bottom of this pop-up where it says 1 of 4, you press that arrow. 204 Dollar General, 304 Donald Alderman Appliance Repair, 404 Western Union agent location. So there's a bunch of businesses at that address. It's like a little business plaza. So plenty of businesses just in this one little town. Now I'm going to give you guys another example. Again, depending on how your trainer organizes your turf, it could be, maybe they use a zip code, maybe they use just a town. So I'm going to go back to B2B prospects, go back to that master list. And then let's say, what if your turf is just a whole town? Let's say you have a lot bigger turf. I'm going to show you kind of how that is a little bit different. Definitely the small turfs can be nice because everyone knows everybody, names go really far, but there is a way to succeed in this business in a larger territory as well. So I'm going to go back to filters. I'm also going to uncheck executive contact information available, or you can check it. It doesn't really matter. It's just, you're going to get more businesses if you uncheck that. Okay. I'm going to leave it checked now just to show you the difference here. And then I'm going to just go by city this time. So I'm going to say, and you select a state, I'm in Virginia. And now let's just say somebody had, the nearest city to me is Roanoke. So let's just say somebody's turf is Roanoke. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Oops. Okay, Roanoke. Now go to the hidden button that says search right here. So you can see here, right in the top left underneath filters, it says there's 6,867 businesses in Roanoke. Those are just the businesses that have the executive present, meaning those are the businesses that actually have the owner's name. Now let's see what happens if I exclude the executive present filter. Now we jump up to 8,528. So there were 2,000 businesses that it wasn't even showing me because they don't have the owner's name. Now, just because we don't have the owner's name doesn't mean we don't want to stop in. That means they probably just have a manager, somebody local. And that's still somewhere we definitely want to approach because the manager could get protected too. And if it's a business in CRM and it's open, they probably have employees. So we definitely still want to go to those businesses. Now I'm going to click map. And you're going to see this is going to look a little bit different from Floyd. So see how it is all different colors here, if you guys are still seeing this. So that's because the CRM automatically categorizes by zip code. So Roanoke's a big city. There are like 10 different zip codes in Roanoke. And that's why I break up my turfs by zip code. So each person, I usually try to have about 5 agents working Roanoke. And each agent is going to get 1 or 2 zip codes because I want each agent to have, maybe about 1,000 businesses to talk to. So for example, down here at the bottom, there's this blue zip code 24018 that has 1,785 businesses. That is a lot. That agent will be busy for years in that turf. Or if you go up to 24012, the yellow one on the top right, that's got 1,287 businesses. That is plenty because some of these businesses are pretty big. They have a lot of people working there. So there is just such an abundance of businesses. But I want to make something really clear. Even if you and your trainer haven't really gone into it like this and looked at how many businesses are in a turf, and let's say, you do have a turf that's Roanoke and it's this whole thing is yours. You're like, where do I start? There's so much to do. You're going to want to still work your area tight. You're going to want to pick one little corner of your territory and still do exactly what I said. Go next business on the right, using names, not skipping anything, using the CRM to find the hidden gems. Because somebody, let's say you have a bunch of names in 24012 and that little yellow one on the top right, and you have those names, and why would you drive 20 minutes down to the blue section? Because no one's going to recognize those names. It's not going to resonate the way our approach is supposed to resonate. And you're really just going to be wasting time driving. Trust me, I've done it. My turf was and still is 24153 way over there on the left. So that's Salem. And I would oftentimes drive over to, the blue area or even one of the other yellow areas. And those names didn't travel whatsoever. Even just 20, 30 minutes away, people don't recognize those names. So if you do have a really big turf, focus on one small section, stay there, work every single business. And if you're getting referrals all over the place, it's okay to save those referrals for later. You don't have to use your referrals all at once. It's a really smart idea to wait till you have, 10, 15, 20 referrals into one of these areas. And then you're able to kind of make a plan that on a certain day to go see those referrals, make a route. And that way you're being efficient still, because we're not trying to drive 20 minutes to see a referral that may or may not be there and has no idea if we're coming. So I'm just going to give you guys one more example. So I'm going to pick an area to work. So let's say we're going to pick, let's do 24012 because I've been talking about that. So that's this light yellow one over here. So just keep zooming in until you see those little pins. And then again, you just start from the outskirts of town. You always want to start at the outskirts and work your way in. Because again, most salespeople, they're going right for Main Street. They're going right for the center of town. And those businesses are just super used to salespeople. They sometimes are a little less patient. Their businesses are a lot busier. So you want to start at the outskirts. So click on a business, find out what it's called, put that as the first one on your list. And the next business on the right, just keep on going. And you will find a lot of success this way. You can ask for pre-approach, you can get referrals. And then by the time you are in town, you have so many names. You have 10, 20 names you can drop, assuming you keep, good pre-approach, keep a list, because I don't expect you to remember all those names. You have a whole bunch more names that you can drop with businesses that you've worked with that they probably recognize. And so you have a higher chance of getting a sit down with that business owner in a busier part of town on Main Street. But see how many businesses there are just in this little tiny cluster of this little corner of Roanoke. That's why we work in area tight, because these are each one of these dots represents many, many families that could get cancer, that could have an accident, that need to be protected. We don't want to skip any of these people. We never know who's going to buy. We never know who needs this. Doesn't matter what type of business it is. Remember, businesses don't buy, people do. So I don't want you guys to be intimidated because that's a lawyer's office or whatever stories you're telling yourself. It's about the person on the other side of the door. We don't know if they're cool or not. It's just our job to find out, basically. So pretty much our job is to just go, talk to people all day and see who's cool. And if they're cool, we're going to try and give them a demo. If they're not cool, there's so many other people to see. So that's kind of the gist of how to use CRM to work in area tight, and also a little bit more about why it's so important to work in area tight. Did anybody have any questions about any of that? Was that confusing at all? Or anybody have questions, comments, want to share anything?
Donna Maria, I have one question. This is Patrick. My tablet was locked in being able to go when I was going through the training because my license number had not completely come through to the office. And so I tried to take notes, and by the time I looked at my notes, I took screenshots and notes, I'm like, I'm lost. I completely don't know. And I started to pull over, and I was trying to get my hotspot going. Is this recording going to be made available? Because I really need, this is like one of my weaker points, is having the knowledge to use my software the correct way. I tried to go through the manual, and I'm like, this is not working either.
Yeah, sometimes the manuals are like kind of complicated. So yeah, these recordings are usually available on YouTube within like 2 or 3 days. So just keep an eye on our YouTube channel. It's Davenport Schneider Agencies. But yeah, that should be available in the next couple of days. Good question. I'm glad that was helpful, and I'm glad you're going to try it out.
Yes, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Marie, that was this is a fantastic call, and for multiple reasons. And first, I'll apologize to my agents that I have not picked up the ball and ran with this, because change is scary. I'm coming from Sales Rabbit. I was very married to Sales Rabbit, which a lot of you know that if you've been here 3-4 years from now. I know Josie was really good at it. It simplified our turf for us, and it's hard enough doing what we do day in and day out, presenting ourselves in the manner in which we do. So staying organized and just simply knowing where you're going, right? The amount of mental energy that we burn up going, where should I go? I'm just not in the mood to go there. That lady was mean to me, last time, and I don't want to go next door because maybe she walked over and said, hey, don't let that guy in. We're all up in our head, and it just doesn't help us. So just simply seeing something like that, having it mapped out. Okay, cool. Thursday, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it just takes the thinking out of it. And we're just showing up, right? And you already have the pre-approach of where you're going next. And I think you did a really good job, Maria, of explaining that. And I appreciate you taking the time to really dig in and figure out how to do that. The next level for myself and my team is really slowing down. And, like you mentioned, even with referrals, be careful of just boom, 30 minutes away, I'm going to see Johnny because he recommended, or he was referred by Cynthia over at so-and-so. It sounds good. And a lot of us are in a position where we're like, ooh, I need to go make that sale. Well, make sure that's on the itinerary for later and build your way to that area. And you hit on another thing, working from the outside in. And again, I don't mean to control this, but the main roads that we see, guys, of course, on a main road, you can look left, you can look right, and you see businesses. Well, guess what? So do all the other salesmen. Okay, guys, there's so many types of salespeople out there outside of insurance, right? There's already a handful of supplemental insurances, life insurances, Medicare, you name it, there's insurance for everything. So guys, don't be surprised that when you show up, that they have a really well-trained gatekeeper, right? Because people like you are knocking on their door, pulling on the door all the time. So what separates you from them? Okay. If you walk into a business, and I say this all the time, on Monday morning at 9:30 a.m., you might be the first salesman of that week for that business. If you walk in there Friday at 2 o'clock, you're probably the 10th to 15th salesman of the week for that business. What is separating you from those other people? Guys, all we're looking to do is sit down with them, right? When we walk in, they're going, this guy, this girl, they're selling something, right? What are you selling? Did you see the sign that says no soliciting? Guys, the reason there's no soliciting signs on businesses, because there's jacklegs from all other companies going in there that are not very well trained and just wasting their time, okay? So having things written down, that way, hey, if I go to A and they're just crappy people, maybe they're in a bad mood, cool, I'm going to B, right? I'm not burning up, ooh, that didn't go well, where should I go from now, right? I'm working really tight because it might not just be the person's names that we're trying to drop, and maybe they don't identify with those names, but it's the business. Hey, I was just over at ABC attorney's office. I was over at the XYZ CPA business, right? And I just want to stop in and introduce myself. Guys, again, all we're doing is introducing ourselves. they'll decide if they want to sit there and listen to you or not. We can't make them do anything. We're Americans. We can do what the hell we want. All right. So guys, it's staying organized, put it on paper so your brain can have full focus on what you're doing in front of you, not getting in your head and having that dialogue of, well, I don't have much success with these businesses. Last time I did that over so-and-so, that manager was real nasty, whatever. It takes the thinking out of it, and then you can just check them off. And guys, I can promise you, when you get in bed tonight and you can go, well, I did that, I did that, I did that, I did that, I did that. Whether you sell anything or not, you are going to sleep like a champ, right? Because you're going to start to identify with the type of person that you're becoming, right? Whether people want to work with you or not, it don't matter, okay? We know we have the best supplemental products out there, and we're just checking you off the list. And guess what? 6 months later, I'm going to come back through again. I'm going to check you off my list. I'm going to keep bugging you until you let me in. That type of confidence, I wish I could bottle it, but they're going to want to do business with you because, Jesus, what is this all about? I want to listen to you now, okay? So I'll get off my soapbox, but.
No, that was a good point, Zach, because we don't want to be wasting precious work time thinking and overthinking. So get that work done, the planning done the night before. Then that takes the pressure off of you during the day. You're not going to run out of people to see. You know exactly where you're going next. And it takes a lot of the stress and anxiety out of it. So that's a really good point. Does anybody else have any final questions, comments before we wrap up?
Maria, Ron here.
Hey, Ron.
Just wanted to say thanks, because I'm all over the place all the time. I'm like, okay, well, I was over here and then I go somewhere else. So thank you for showing us that, because that's really going to help me out. And then just one quick thing, Zach and Van, could you guys stay on after this? Because I need to talk to you about something.
Sure.
So if you could.
Van's not on today, but maybe Zach could stay. I don't know.
Yeah, Van's
Thanks, Maria.
You're welcome. All righty. I know we're coming up against the time here. Anybody else have any questions, comments? All righty. I will end this recording here. Let's see.